I've got some bad news for you. You no longer have a gender. You no longer have a race, or even a religion. And I am going to explain why. This is Adrienne Floreen Explains. We've all heard of transgendered people. Some of us have even fought for their rights. But it might surprise people, even some transgendered people, that there is a push to label all of us as genderless until we are old enough to decide what our gender is or should be. I'm going to click on this article, which says it is called Infant Gender Assignment, Unnecessary and Potentially Harmful. It loads up this article called Don't Let the Doctor Do This to Your Newborn. This article sets up a scenario where the doctor is asking for your consent to perform a procedure on your newborn infant. The procedure has a small chance of having negative consequences on the child's life. Now, if this article was talking about birth vaccines or circumcision, I might agree with this article. But this article is talking about infant gender assignment, which according to this article is when the doctor holds your child up to the harsh light of the delivery room, looks between its legs, and declares his opinion it's a boy or a girl based on nothing more than a cursory assignment of your offspring's genitals. What the author of this article is saying is that no one, even a doctor, can really know anyone's gender when that person is born by looking at their genitals. And when the doctor says, oh, the baby has a penis, it's a boy, or the baby has a vagina, it's a girl, the doctor isn't actually describing what he sees in your anatomy. The doctor is labeling you as something that you might not be. Basically, they want all of us to be genderless until sometime around puberty when we decide if we want to be male or female, not based on our anatomy, but based on how we feel inside. There's actually a big push for this. This couple did not have their baby's gender put on their baby's birth certificate because, as they say, it is up to Cyril to decide how they identify when they are old enough to develop their own gender identity. I am not going to foreclose their choices based on an arbitrary assignment of gender at birth based on an inspection of their genitals. Oh well. Maybe in the future when a baby is born, we'll have to give out announcements that say it's a baby rather than it's a boy or it's a girl. Because you never know, the child with genitals of a male appearance may end up being female. We also may not be able to give our children names like Samuel or Samantha. It might have to just be Sam, which gets elongated to Samuel or Samantha later on, depending on their decision of whether they identify with being a male or a female. But at least we can still say what race we are, can't we? At least I can still say I'm a white woman, or at least as far as I know, I'm mostly Caucasian. At least our ethnicity is still determined by our DNA. And we can't change that. We can't change our DNA, so I guess I couldn't become a black woman if I wanted to. But I could become a man if I wanted to. And I thought that whether we were male or female was also determined by our DNA, so why can't I be a black guy if that's what I identify with? This is Rachel Dolezal, a white woman who, according to some, was pretending to be black. She was even the head of an African American rights organization. When it came out that she was actually white, or as some would say, born white, she said that she identified as African American, that it was her racial identity, and that her having a different racial identity from her birth race was the same as a transgender person having a different gender from their birth gender. So you can change your gender, you can change your race, and you can change your religion, but you've always been able to do that. You've always been able to, for example, be a Christian and say, I'm a Christian, and then convert to Buddhism and say, I'm a Buddhist.
What about Muslim?
Yeah, you could be Muslim. You could say, I'm a Muslim, or you could say, he's a Muslim, or they're Muslims. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You might not be able to do that. According to this article, Seattle mayor proposes Sharia-compliant loans for Muslim homebuyers. Well, they do call them Muslims in the title. According to this article, if you scroll down, you will see that it says, Arslan Bukhari, Washington State Chapter Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, told the Puget Sound Business Journal that he believes that there are approximately 200 Seattle residents who identify as Muslim that avoid taking out home loans because of their religion. But it's not their religion anymore, people. It's only their identity. There you go. At least so far as I've seen, if you're a Muslim, you no longer have a religion. It's only your identity. Oh no. If you're Christian, you don't have a religion either. It's now only an identity for you as well.
And it's been owned by a corporation for a while.
It only took me one really quick Google search to find it. Half of LGBT Americans identify as Christians. Darn pop-up ads on this webpage. See, it doesn't say half of LGBT Americans are Christian. It says they identify as Christian. And that is why you no longer have a gender, a race, or a religion. Please like this video, share this video, watch my other videos on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and you are all welcome.